Howdy folks, and welcome to another episode of Mingles with Jingles. I'm back, fresh after my week off, which ended up not really being a week off, because I'm as bad at taking time off as I am at everything else. It was good though, I really did need to take a rest, especially after TankFest. Although the bad news is that according to the long-term weather forecast, it ain't getting any cooler anytime soon. This heat wave that we've been experiencing in Britain is probably going to last until the end of August, so yeah, I'm just going to have to man up and get the hell on with it. So anyway, what's been going on while I was taking my break? Well, those of you who paid attention to the videos that I was uploading over the weekend may have noticed a very short video announcing my intention to, well, not just take part in, but to win a brand new contest that's just been announced by World of Warships. It's called The Ring. It's for community contributors only, but they do actually have over 100 community contributors across the world. And the prize for the winner is to get yourself into World of Warships. Now, previously, Wargaming have told me, because I have to admit I have brought this subject up with them, they told me that I had to get 2 million subscribers on YouTube, and then they promised they would put me into the game. However, it turns out I don't actually have to gain another 1.4 million subscribers. I can get in via the back door by winning this competition. What it involves, I'll put a link down below in the video description so you can actually see the rules for this contest that they're running for community contributors, is that, well, first of all, you have to put up a video announcing your intention to take part, and that's what this weekend's video was. In 2 weeks, more or less, they're going to select 10 competitors for the EU. I presume they're also selecting 10 competitors for North America and the various other different servers. And then what's going to happen is that each week the first 10 competitors are going to be given a special combat mission. They have to complete this combat mission over a weekend and then create a video proving that they completed the mission, but also at the same time adding commentary to the video as if they were actually the captain of the ship that they were playing. And the reason they're doing this is because of what happens if you actually win, and more on that in a moment. Now, these videos are not actually going to go up on our own YouTube channels. Instead, we have to send the videos to Wargaming, and Wargaming are going to put them up on the official World of Warships Global YouTube channel. So that's where you're going to be able to see all of the videos each week from the various different community contributors who are competing in the ring contest. And the way it's going to work is this. Each video, they're going to take the number of views, multiply that by the number of likes, multiply that by the number of comments, and then divide that by the number of subscribers that you have. Whatever number you end up with after doing all of that will be the score for your video. And the top 8 will make it through into the second round, and the whole process will repeat itself. Each week there'll be a new set of combat missions. The surviving contestants will have to do the same thing all over again until there is one winner, and that winner will end up being in World of Warships as a ship commander. But it's not just a simple case of having your picture plastered into the game as a special named commander. They're doing something different this time. The winner will be flown to St. Petersburg, where they're going to sit down and actually have their voice recorded so that the unique commander actually has their own voice lines as well. Now, I realise I'm probably getting a little bit ahead of myself here, but I am going to fight my corner should I win this contest so that we get the phrase surprise butt sex in the game somewhere. Or at the very least, that's a paddling. You know it makes sense. I mean, I have to try. Now, I've done this before for Fractured Space. If you have me as the captain in Fractured Space, it's not just my picture that flashes up any time the captain reports something. I had to go down to Edge Case Game Studios in, I've forgotten where it is. I want to say Basingstoke, but I know that's wrong. Guildford, that was it, yes. Not important, but yeah, I'm struggling to remember. Yeah, I had to go down to their studios and sit there inside a recording studio for the day, recording the various different voice lines, and it'd be exactly the same procedure for whoever wins the ring contest for the community contributors of World of Warships. Now when it comes to picking a winner, this is actually quite clever, because the formula that they've chosen to determine the score of each video that gets uploaded, views multiplied by likes multiplied by comments divided by the number of subscribers that you have, means that, well, a lot of people were saying, well, there's absolutely no point. Jingles is going to win. He's got nearly 600,000 subscribers. Yeah, but my score gets divided by the number of subscribers that I have. For example, we'll just pick a random World of Warships video. HMCS Hyder. Video that I did on the 4th of July, which was kind of cheeky. Doing a video about a Canadian ship on America's birthday. You're welcome. But yeah, I mean, that video's been up since the 4th of July. It's had 114,000, nearly 115,000 views, which is actually pretty good for one of my World of Warships videos. It's had 1,349 comments, which again is pretty good for a video. Although my videos always do tend to get a lot of comments. I'm quite proud of the fact that there's so much interaction on my videos amongst my community. And it's also had 5,773 likes. Now, you multiply all that together and you get a number in the high billions. Nearly 900 billion, in fact. And that's a pretty impressive score, but, well, I have not far short of 600,000 subscribers, so you have to divide that by 600,000, and that trims the number down by a substantial amount. That, in fact, drops the number down to just under 1.5 million, so if my HMCS Hyder score had been my first ring contest video uploaded, it would have had a score of just under 1.5 million. And that sounds pretty impressive, because it's 1.5 million. But, well, here's the thing. Remember, divided by the number of subscribers. So, for example, let's just take a look at another video that's been up around about the same length of time from another World of Warships community contributor. Flamu did a video also on HMCS Hyder. It's been up a week. It's received 27,000 views. It's had 888 likes, and it's got 143 comments. Now, these numbers are a fraction of the kind of views, likes, and comments that I receive on my videos, particularly the comments. But Flamu doesn't have 600,000 subscribers coming to watch his videos. Flamu only has 56. I can't believe we live in a world where I'm saying somebody only has 56,000 subscribers on YouTube. But yeah, now if you apply the same formula to that video from Flamu, where I received the score of just under 1.5 million, Flamu's video, using the same formula, gets a score of over 8 million. So I am far from guaranteed to win this contest. In fact, because, you see, again, and you know, I'm not picking on Flamu here. I mean, I watch all of his videos as well. They are very, very good. But Flamu pretty much only does World of Warships videos. Which means that all 56,000 of Flamu's subscribers are there for his World of Warships content. And they're probably all going to watch the video, assuming he even takes part in the contest. I don't know if he is, but Flamu, if you're watching this, you should, because you've got an excellent chance of winning. Because all of your subscribers and followers are there for your World of Warships content, not all of mine are. So, if he has 56,000 people every week going to the official World of Warships channel looking for his video, hitting the like button, watching the video and leaving a comment, it's going to be very, very hard to beat. Because not all 600,000 of my subscribers care about World of Warships. A lot of people just don't watch the World of Warships videos that I put up. A lot of people are only here for World of Tanks. So, unless... and I will be reminding you of this every week in Mingles with Jingles. Unless I can marshal the Jingles army every week to get their arse over to the official World of Warships global YouTube channel, look for the video that I put up, hit the like button, watch the video, and leave a comment, it's going to be very hard for me to win this. I know a lot of people were assuming that there's just no point in their entering because Jingles is guaranteed to win. You know, he's got more than 500,000 viewers. Well, yeah, but that's actually not a good thing. I mean, it is a good thing. It's a very, very good thing. But not as far as this contest is concerned, because my score gets divided by the number of subscribers that I have. So if I don't have all of you going to the video and watching it and liking it and leaving a comment, it's going to be difficult. But I'm going to give it a go, because, I mean, of course I'm going to give it a go. Why wouldn't I? I'm probably the best qualified person to be a captain in World of Warships anyway, as I mentioned in my announcement video. I'm old, I am the Navy, and I even have my own hat. So, and also I've done this sort of thing before. Trust me, I'm a professional. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. And, you know, may the best community contributor win. Anyway, speaking of YouTube, they've been up to their old tricks again. Since last week's episode of Mingles with Jingles, where I mentioned the utter disaster that is the Content ID process, you wouldn't believe the kind of bollocks I have had to wade through during the last week as a result of this whole Content ID thing. Now, I have to admit, I was probably in a better position than most. When it came to getting ready for this, my YouTube partner network notified me of a huge number. I spoke about this previously, but they notified me of a huge number of potential copyright issues, and so I spent a lot of time and effort going through all of my videos, and I've purged a lot of my playlists of anything that I really shouldn't have been using because I didn't have a license for it, and I didn't own it. Which basically means the Why You Have to Be Mad series is down to something like 4 videos, but yeah, what are you going to do? So anyway, I thought that we were good. Naturally, a couple of things slipped through the net, and so there were some legitimate copyright claims I think I mentioned in last week's episode. There's a couple of songs that tend to pop up in a lot of my Why'd You Have to Be Mad videos. There's the Happy Troll song, the Party Troll song, and In a World of Derp, all written by a very, very talented musician called D1 of Aquavibe. And I have permission to use these 3 songs in my YouTube videos, providing I give credit in the video description. And there were 2 occasions where I simply forgot to give credit in the relevant videos. And both of those videos got claimed. So I've disputed them by explaining, oops, sorry, forgot to give credit. And, you know, they were absolutely fine with that. Both of those claims had been released. So I thought to myself, well, you know, if that's what the process is going to be like, this isn't actually that bad. It seems quite reasonable and straightforward. Somebody makes a Content ID claim on one of my videos. They monetize my video for their own purposes. If it's legitimate, that's absolutely fine. I mean, it's completely fair enough. I thought that, you know, I'd removed all possible legitimate Content ID claims from my videos, but when you've got as many videos uploaded as I have, over as long as I have, some are going to slip through the net. And where those claims are legitimate, I have absolutely no problem whatsoever. However, oh man, how can I put this? Since last week's episode of Mingles with Jingles, where I had a couple of fairly ridiculous copyright claims that I had a very good laugh about as well, but since last week's episode, I think I must have had anything between 30 and 40 Content ID claims made against videos that I've uploaded to YouTube. And of those 30 to 40 Content ID claims, 80 to 85% are complete and utter bullshit. They're just people on fishing expeditions to see if they can scare me into allowing them to monetize my videos. In the overwhelming majority of cases, I'm talking 80 to 85% here, I have a license to use the music that somebody is trying to claim. Now naturally I'm disputing all these bullshit claims, but here's the process. So just follow this and then tell me when it starts sounding scary, okay? Somebody launches a Content ID claim on one of your videos. Let's say you've used a 10-second music clip in a half-hour-long video, and they claim your entire video because you've used a 10-second music clip of music that they think they own, and they don't think you have the rights to use. So, I then dispute the claim. What YouTube then does is it freezes all monetization on the video until the claim has been resolved. The claimant has 30 days to resolve the dispute. They can either release the claim, in which case everything goes back to normal, or they can reject the dispute. Now what happens if they reject the dispute is you can appeal. However, if you choose to appeal, YouTube warns you that if you don't win the appeal, this Content ID claim could turn into a copyright strike. And that, if you're a YouTuber, is some seriously bad juju. A copyright strike is bad news. You get 3 copyright strikes ever in the entire lifetime of your YouTube channel, and you can kiss your channel goodbye. It's gone forever. There is no coming back from 3 copyright strikes. So with that kind of warning hanging over your head, you're going to have to think long and hard about appealing a dispute that's been rejected by the claimant, even if you know you're in the right, because at that point things could go to court. Lawyers could get involved, and you have to prove that you're in the right. You see, on YouTube there's no expectation of innocence. You are guilty, and you have to prove your innocence. And when the person accusing you of breaching their copyright is Sony Music, because you've used the Battle Hymn of the Republic, which, by the way, is public domain music, was written in the 19th century, and they're claiming that you've used Leonard Bernstein's arrangement of it, even though you haven't. How do you prove that you haven't? Are you really going to risk it, or are you just going to say, yeah, okay, you can claim the video? Because that's what's happening. And it's not just music, of course. It's audio-visual content. So if, for example, I was to put a video up, and at a certain point during the video I include a little clip of Carlton from The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air getting jiggy with it, NBC Studios can claim that entire video. And there are YouTube channels whose entire video library consists of game footage with these kind of memes plastered all over them, and they are completely screwed now. It's getting to the stage on YouTube now where you can't even put a meme into your video without worrying about somebody hitting you with a content ID claim. And even when you do own the right or have a license to use copyrighted material, or you're using material that's copyright free in the first place, it's still not safe, because I have had a huge number of bullshit claims levelled against my channel in this last week alone for material that I do have a license to use. And yeah, sure, I've disputed every single one of those claims. But this is where everything gets all messed up, because YouTube's system is not set up to protect the YouTuber. It's loaded in favour of the people making the content ID claims. If I get 3 copyright strikes, I'm done. I'm gone. Sayonara, auf Wiedersehen, so long and thanks for all the fish. I am an ex-YouTube channel with 3 copyright claims. Ever. On the other hand, I'm seeing the same names over and over and over again from people claiming content ID on my videos. So there doesn't appear to be any penalty whatsoever for people making bullshit content ID claims. So there doesn't appear to be anything preventing these alleged music publishers, because I don't even know who the majority of these companies are. There doesn't seem to be anything preventing them from just sitting there hundreds of times each day filing content ID claims against people's YouTube videos. And sure, I'm disputing all of these claims, but it's not costing them anything to make these claims in the first place. And it's also not costing them anything to reject my disputes. But if I choose to appeal that rejection, it could cost me everything. You know, a couple of years ago, I got an email from one of you guys who is a primary school teacher. And he told me that he asked his class what they all wanted to be when they grow up. Now, in my day, we all wanted to be soldiers, firemen and astronauts when we grew up. But times have changed. And now the number 1, well technically number 1 and number 2, professions of choice for kids going through school, what they want to be when they grow up, is either a Twitch live streamer or a YouTuber. Guys, YouTube isn't what it used to be. It's a minefield these days, and it is not getting any better anytime soon. I mean, I'm not planning on going anywhere anytime soon, because I still do enjoy doing this, but it is not easy to make a living on YouTube. So once again, I really do have to thank everybody who supports me on Patreon, because you guys are making sure that the lights stay on and the food continues to arrive on the table. And of course, well, you guys are also making sure that these episodes of Mingles with Jingles are advert-free and unmonetized every week. At least until NBC Studios claims the video and monetizes it, because I included a 5-second clip of Carlton getting jiggy with it from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Go on, Carlton, shake that booty. Come on, NBC Studios, give me your best shot. I'm laughing now, but it might happen. Anyway, let's finish off this week's episode of Mingles with Jingles on a high note. Now, I was thinking of telling a war story, and I realise it's been a while since I did one, but trust me, they're coming back. Yeah, Jingles, you said that about Lone Echo. What? It came back? I did Lone Echo. I finished it. Alright, it took 6 months, but I said I was going to do it, and I did it. Trust me, the war stories are coming back. But I want to do something else in this week's episode. I've been going through the internet and looking up pictures of celebrities when they were in the military. And there are some surprises there, some celebrities that I had no idea ever served in the military. I mean, you've got the obvious candidates like the late great Robert Lee Ermey, who sadly died this year, who rose to fame, and rightfully so, for his portrayal of Gunnery Sergeant Hartman in Stanley Kubrick's Full Metal Jacket, and since then went on to play a huge number of different characters. Well, this is a picture of the Gunny in 1966 when he was an actual drill instructor. Only slightly less well known is Dale Dye, who most of you probably know as Colonel Sink in Band of Brothers, but Dale Dye was also a US Marine. He did 3 tours of duty during the Vietnam War, and eventually left the Marines with 2 Silver Stars, a Bronze Star and a Purple Heart, and the rank of Captain. His first movie role was as a technical advisor and also playing the platoon captain in Oliver Stone's Platoon. Interestingly, if you're ever watching Platoon, anytime you hear any radio chatter in the background, that's Dale Dye. And anytime you see the door gunner of a Huey in Platoon, that's also Dale Dye. Which is why every time you see a door gunner in a Huey in Platoon, he's always got the visor down. Just as a side note, the director of Platoon, Oliver Stone, was himself a Vietnam veteran, and also had a cameo in the movie as the battalion commander, right before a North Vietnamese sapper ran into his command bunker and blew it up with a satchel charge. But then I started coming across a huge number of celebrities who I've seen in the movies and never had the slightest idea that they ever served in the military at all. You know that Jimi Hendrix was in the 101st Airborne? Yes, really. And did you know that Harvey Keitel and Gene Hackman both ran away from home to join the US Marines? Kylo Ren, yeah, Adam Driver, he was a US Marine. Kirk Douglas, Spartacus, the movie Spartacus, not the TV Spartacus, was in the US Navy as an officer during World War II. His ship was torpedoed by a Japanese destroyer in 1944 and he was medically discharged. And while we all know that James Bond's official rank is Commander Bond of the Royal Navy, James Bond really was in the Royal Navy. Sean Connery served in the Royal Navy during World War II. Now, you'll almost certainly recognise our next candidate as being the only guy in Star Trek who was so badass that he wore a red shirt and never got killed. But would you recognise him from this photo taken in 1944? James Doohan was commissioned a lieutenant in the 14th Field Artillery Regiment of the 3rd Canadian Infantry Division and went ashore on D-Day on Juno Beach. He personally shot and killed 2 snipers before leading his men to higher ground and putting them into defensive positions for the night. And then that night, while checking between the various different outposts, he was shot 6 times by a Bren gun fired by a nervous Canadian sentry. He took 4 bullets in the leg, 1 in the chest, and 1 in the hand. The bullet in the chest was stopped by a silver cigarette case that had been given to him by his brother. He would later go on to stop smoking, but he'd at least always be able to say that smoking actually saved his life. Now, he did lose one of the fingers from the bullet that went into his hand, but most people would have absolutely no idea that he was actually missing a finger on his left hand, because he took great pains to ensure that his left hand was almost never in camera shot whenever they were filming Star Trek, although he made no effort whatsoever to hide the missing finger when he was signing countless autographs for fans at Star Trek conventions. Now, who recognises this guy? That's Steve Buscemi. Legendary actor. He's been in hundreds of movies. I think the first time I ever saw him in anything was in Quentin Tarantino's Reservoir Dogs. Now, I have to be honest here. Steve was never in the military, but he was in the New York Fire Department. You can see him here with Engine 55, the fire engine that he worked on out of Little Italy in Manhattan. So what does this have to do with anything? Well, on September the 11th, 2001, a couple of airliners were flown into the Twin Towers of the World Trade Center. And the world as we know pretty much changed overnight. Steve Buscemi, who at the time was a world-famous actor, quietly went back to Engine 55 and worked 12-hour shifts for a week without being asked, alongside fellow firefighters, pulling bodies out of the wreckage at Ground Zero. He refused to be photographed. He refused to give any interviews. He just did the work because he could. There are actually, in fact, a couple of photographs circulating of him working alongside other firefighters, but in the majority it's difficult to make a positive identification because he is taking steps to hide his face. He didn't want the publicity, he just wanted to get the work done. Of course, no mention of celebrities who had wartime service would be complete without mentioning the late great Sir Christopher Lee, who served in the Finnish Army, yes, really, in 1939, the British Home Guard in 1940, and then between 1941 and 1946 the Royal Air Force, but was also attached to the Special Operations Executive and the Special Air Service, and who quite famously said to director Peter Jackson on the set of The Lord of the Rings while playing Saruman, and being told to try to imagine what it would sound like to hear somebody getting stabbed, said, "I don't have to imagine it, old boy." So what about other famous movie badasses? Where's Chuck Norris? This list couldn't possibly be complete without Chuck Norris in there somewhere. I mean, he served in the military, didn't he? He was certainly of the right age. I mean, he was born in 1945, actually born on the same day as me, March the 10th, although I wasn't born in 1945. No, I'm significantly older than that. But yes, Chuck Norris, where does he fit in to all of this? Well, Chuck Norris was technically in the military. Unfortunately, it was the Air Force. So it doesn't really count. Oh well, never mind. Nearly there. And on that bombshell, that's it for this week's episode of Mingles with Jingles. Never mind, Chuck. Better luck next time. I hope you all enjoyed today's episode, and as always, take care, and I'll catch you next time.